Welcome back to ApexTrend.ai. We're going to cover how our research engine identified 47 setups that moved more than 5% the next day over the last 30 days and 9 moves that were more than 8%. I'll show you exactly how these setups looked like on the chart using a real examples from QBTS and TSLA, including where they were flagged in our overnight trend research and ultimately where the price went. But before we get to that, we're going to narrow down the research and show you how it works. Over the last 30 days, our research engine generated over 1,000 research items to look at across the market. Out of that universe, 47 stocks traded more than 5% the next day. 9 of those went more than 8%. So looking at this, we're going to see that large moves next day are not that common. So randomly chasing those is not going to be a very valid strategy. This is the historical research review. It's not investment advice. We're going to look back and understand what worked and why from our research engine that we're looking at on the screen. Instead of asking what stocks went up, we're going to ask a different question. We're going to say, where did the market context come from that pushed these large moves the next day? When we broke the results down by RSI, ADX, and EMA structure, something very clear is showing up. Many of the strongest next day moves didn't come from clean uptrends. They came from what we call high pressure, unresolved environments. RSI was oversold or compressed. The ADX was elevated, meaning that it already had energy built in for the stock to move soon. And the price was still below its EMA, meaning that the trend from bullish or bearish to bullish didn't flip yet. So these weren't chases. These were high pressure setups that were ready to move. So ApexTrend.ai has a light GBM engine that you can see puts out these trend setups for you every day. These are the overnight swing trades that we're looking at. So over a period of a month, you will see about 1,050 or maybe a little more, right around 1,000, depending on the market. It pulls down from a set list of top volume S&P stocks. Then on top of that, top movers from the day. Now, you're going to get almost 1,100 research trends identified over a month. So to cut down on that, what we're looking at in our videos is the ones that are over 50%. Now that is the light GBM engine that ranks these from past setups and how those past setups performed. By looking at only the ones over 50, you're able to cut down the total number to review down to 660. Now obviously that's over a month, so that's probably about 30. Then if we go back in and we use the context system, which is matching historical context, and it badges them if it matches RSI, ADX, EMA, and some other technicals to past trades that ended up being positive, then it tells you if this is a more of a bullish pattern that's been identified. So by doing both of those, you're able to narrow it down to about 400 from a month. So with 400 stocks in 1 month, it still seems like a lot. But over a month, we're looking at about 20 trading days. So that means that out of all of the setups, you're getting roughly 20 to identify that you can look at yourself in charts and use our system to see which ones had done better or worse the day before, and then make your decision on which would be the one to look at. And if we go to the top of the page, you can see a lot of these. For example, December 2nd, at the market open, that's the number that opened above the research price. At the market high, you can see this was a pretty good day. Almost everything had hit a high higher than the price from the day before of the forecast. We can continue to scroll through, and you'll still see several other days had pretty good results when you're scrolling through and looking at the engine. So we're going to take a look at a couple charts of the patterns that were identified. We'll see qubits on November 21st, 2025 had an oversold pattern. These are 1-hour candles, by the way, and the pattern was identified around the mid-20s, $20.37. So the next day move going into Monday, we saw a 14% plus change in the stock up to $23.33. So this showed us that the RSI had dropped, ADX started to be elevated, and it was heading on a positive trend, and light GBM picked that up. We'll also move back to this time where on December 1st, Qubits was identified again. We had a little bit of a smaller drop off, but a negative trend in the stock had it under the EMA. The pattern was identified by the light GBM engine. Following day, we had another run up from its price at around 21 all the way up to 23.94. So you can see how light GBM engine, we scroll through this, is able to identify bullish setups, and sometimes those setups do result in a large price difference. But obviously, past performance is not a guarantee of future gains. But we'll go look at another case here. December 19th was identified as a red to green reversal. Next day, 20% move. Now, with the 1 hour candles, it eliminates some of the minute by minute noise, and the light GBM engine is able to compare these patterns to previous setups. We'll also take a look at Tesla. November 21st, Tesla was flagged at around 401. It had turned bearish, and we were under the EMA slope. This was a Friday, right over here. The next day, into Monday, next trading day, we had a price improvement after the model had identified similar downtrends. You can see how it kind of matches a Qubits pattern, and then it regained and went up over 4% the next day to around 417. So Qubits and Tesla are very different stocks, but the context of their trading pattern at the time was relatively similar, and that is something that the light GBM engine will help you in your research. The RSI was compressing or recovering, ADX was starting to elevate, EMA slope was down for the most case at the time of research pattern identification, and that is where, when all those things were put together, light GBM engine helped us identify a potential turn in these stocks. So the takeaway is that not every setup that is identified by Apex Trend is going to produce a better price the next day, but you can get in, you can log in for free trial, and look through the overnight research and have it help you make a decision and decide if you like to use the system. Remember, we have the optimal context scoring, which also adds to the light GBM score. And get a free trial, ApexTrend.ai. If you like this video, like to see more like it, please like and subscribe. Thank you.